Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Raw. We're in season 2, and where I have another amazing, beautiful, intelligent, and powerful woman sitting next to me today. So today's topic is beauty from ashes, navigating narcissistic abuse, trauma, and betrayal. Now, y'all know how I do, right? So first off, what do you do when love turns into control? When your marriage feels more like a battlefield than a blessing? And when spiritual warfare shows up in the one place you thought was safe? Y'all know how I do. I don't introduce my guests because these women have a voice of their own and they have a powerful story that they've been brave enough to come on and share with you, our LBR community. So without any further ado, let me turn it over to the woman of the hour.
Woo, that intro, honey. That intro was everything. Okay, we done. That's a wrap.
We done. It's
Wrap it up.
Okay.
Wrap it up. So, Deanna, first of all, you know how I feel about you. Like, you are a powerhouse.
Oh.
You're a woman of faith. You're a businesswoman. You're a mother, a wife. So I look up to you and I admire you in so many different ways. So being here, I don't take any of that lightly. So
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And here's one caveat to it. I always like LBR's platform is about who you are, not what you do.
And I love
which
that.
will lead into that. But I want you to share with the community who you are.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to first lead off with the titles and then we're going to get into who I am. Right. So I am Shannon Savoy. I'm a certified life coach, minister of the gospel, coach, speaker, 3-time Amazon author, but really at my core, I'm a servant. I'm a servant. I'm just a vessel of God. I love to have transparent conversations about healing. I love building communities where people have safe spaces to heal from whatever it is that they were affected by. So at my core, I'm just a servant. I also do content creating. I also do speaking engagements and things of that nature. But really, those are the avenues. I love just having those conversations, being transparent and getting to the root of things. I don't like anything status quo. I don't like to do anything status quo. I want to get to the root of why a thing is like a thing. So I like to get to the root of why I was in pain, and now I can take that pain and turn it into purpose. So that's really all I do at my core.
Married, children.
Yeah, so I'm happily married. All right, I was married to a sociopath. We're gonna talk about that. Right? But I'm happily married to Solomon Savoy. He's also here in Houston, a realtor as well, a coach as well. I have 2 children, Amari and Jaden. They're 22 and 23.
Yes, and I met your daughter. Absolutely beautiful, stunning girl.
Yes,
she be slaying on the ground too.
Another it girl.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, for sure.
Yes. Oh, and I'm an Army veteran too. So I was in the military for 23 years.
Multifaceted. Yes. I told y'all I'd be bringing. I'd be bringing on some powerhouses. Right. These are not your everyday women. But here's the key. Look at this beautiful smile. And you know how the saying goes, I don't look like what I've been through. You are a walking testimony, sis. Like a walking testimony. And even from the first moment that I met you and being in your presence, I thank you so much for all of the accolades and all of the kind words that you just bestowed upon me. But it's twofold, sis. It goes the same way to you. You can just tell when you're around certain women that are so comfortable with who they are that you don't have to worry about a sense of competition. No. You don't have to worry about dimming your lights. You don't have to worry about what may come out your mouth because there might be judgment there. I have never experienced that being around you. And the fact that you also, in all of your accolades, in everything that you've been through, just who you are as a walking powerhouse, the fact that you can even be comfortable and say to another woman, I look up to you. Right. Like, we're not doing that enough.
People do that.
No, it's like women are so scared to be able to say that to another woman as if that means that they are less powerful. Right. Or that they don't measure up. Right. Right. And I'm like, no, like we all need to have I'm blessed to have multiple women that I look up to, not just one. That it also allows me to tap into the competitive side of me in a very good way. Right? Like we talked about that recently at an event here, and I was talking about how I understand right now there's the whole collaboration over competition, but here's the thing that I truly believe. I still can't be collaborative with you if there isn't some sense of competition.
It has to be good competition.
Right. And it is the competition is in me saying, oh my God, this is killing it.
That part.
So if she can do it, what do I need to do to tap into me in order for me to either be there or be somewhere on that level? Right. But competition in any type of sport, in any type of industry is necessary.
It's necessary.
If you want to be the best version of you.
Right.
Not the best version of you.
And that's it.
Right? The best version of you.
And that's it. And so many people, when they don't do their work, they feel another woman is their competition. I don't ever look at another woman as competition. Since I would tell you in a heartbeat, I'm inspired by you. I am inspired by what you do. And I would tell you, and I don't know what that weirdness is where people, they will go and copy what you do.
Oh, yeah.
And they will act like they don't see you.
And then at least I'm like, well, daggone, at least give me a little credit. Like if you took my whole blueprint, you took exactly what I said almost verbatim. You took every step that I did. Like you can't at least just say, sis, you know what? Thank you for being a trailblazer and going ahead of me.
There you go.
Showing me the mishaps. Right.
There you go.
What I need to make sure how to avoid the pitfalls.
Right. You see, just before I'm taking notes. I'm always taking notes from you. Because if I'm around successful women, I'm in the right place. Right. I'm in the right place for us to set up for a blessing. That means mine is on the way. If yours come before mine, I can still clap for you. And I had to go through that because when I was healing, God put me in spaces around powerful people, and I had to learn how not to be intimidated and how to navigate while I was in a losing season around winners. Yes. Because I knew I wasn't going to be in that season all the time. So you have to be able to learn to clap for people when you're in a losing season and still be happy for them. But a lot of people can't do that. If they're in a losing season, they get quiet. No, baby, I'm inspired. I'm in the right place.
Well, y'all see, we can just, I told you this is why I love these episodes is we can start out with something, but the flow of just going with what we're talking about in the moment. Absolutely. And that's the authenticity, right? Of the connection and the conversation and it not being scripted. Right. Okay, so guys, we're gonna get back on topic because if you can't already tell, Miss Shannon and I, listen, we can school y'all on this, you know, not dimming your light and you know, accepting who you are and walking in your authenticity. So sis, this episode is not for the faint of heart, and that's exactly the point. So let's start with question 1 so we can really lead into this. What were the earliest signs of narcissistic abuse in your marriage, and how did you convince yourself to stay when everything inside of you was screaming to go?
Right. Well, it was almost like I was a frog in a boiling pot. I couldn't recognize the abuse. You ever heard that analogy? If you put a frog in a pot of water, at first he'll stay in the water, but you just keep turning up the heat. You just keep adding more water. And that's how it was. Initially, I didn't know. Initially, it was fine. And then he just kept pouring more water, a little bit at a time.
And turning the heat up a little bit
because
at a time.
Because he would have did too much. I would have been like, I'm out of here. But it was just subtle. It was just the control. It was just tracking me wherever I go. It was accusing me of doing everything that I found out that he was doing. Accusing me of cheating, accusing me of talking to exes, tracking my every move. I mean, just crazy stuff. And I'm gonna give you an example. One time we were sleeping, and then I woke up, and we both in the military. I woke up, and this joker is low crawling around the bed, like when you going through the trenches or something.
No way.
And I just, you know.
So did he know you were awake at this time?
No. So, and I'm just looking at him. He crawling around on my side of the bed. He grabbed my phone. I woke and I got up and I said, "What you doing?" He just got back in the bed like it wasn't nothing. Like it wasn't nothing.
Like you dreaming.
Yeah, like I'm crazy. And I was like, you don't have to do that. you have my code to my phone. You don't have to wait.
till
I'm asleep to do that. But those were just just weird behavior, controlling, domestic violence, all of that.
So let's give the backstory. Let's talk through meeting, getting married, and that first moment of it happening. And a reason why I feel like it's so important is because I think the other thing us women do is we don't use that God-given talent that I feel like he pours extra in women, right?
Yeah.
That intuition,
discernment.
that discernment. Like we want to love that person past everything that is sitting right in front of our face.
Right.
So let's go to the beginning, how you was smitten by him.
Right.
How did we get to the night of him?
Right.
Trying to get home.
Taking soldier to another level. Right. Right. Okay, so we were both in the military. We were both signal, so IT.
Okay.
And so we met at Fort Gordon. So we initially met, but we didn't really have anything to do. Like we just met in passing, had some words, and that was it. And then I saw him years later, like years and years
Y'all are
later.
Out of the military.
We're still in the military.
Okay, all right.
Right. Still in the military. And so I came across his profile on Facebook, and I was like,
that darn Facebook.
Right. Right. It was a setup down in the DMs, right? And so I think I liked a picture or something like that. And then from there, he got, in the DMs. And so we started talking. We end up, talking for a long time. The first time I talked to him, those red flags. All right.
The first time
I talked to him, he poured on the waterworks. He was telling me about his mother and what he went through in childhood. And he poured on the waterworks. And I think we were on FaceTime or either a call. I think we were on some video, I think. And so I'm seeing a man cry.
Right. You think, oh, he's sensitive. Oh, he's going to show his emotions.
And that lip quiver. Yeah. Girl, that's how it was. That's how it was. I was like, oh my goodness, I've never seen, I grew up around, I've never seen this side of a man. Girl, I was intrigued.
Yes, of course.
And then we got off the phone. And then he sent me some shoes. He spoiled me, sending me packages. Wow. Yes. And I'm in Hawaii. He's in North Carolina at the time.
Okay.
So, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, God, this must be the one. Now, let me tell you what I did tell you.
Okay.
A week before that, probably about a week or two, I said, God, you know what? I've been single for a while. Hawaii, it's very family friendly. It's very couple.
Right.
It
ain't meant for the single.
It's not really, And so it was just me and my children at the time. And I was like, God, I'm ready for a relationship. I think I'm ready. Because I was a hot girl, baby. I was having hot girl summers. I came from Georgia, baby. Georgia was different. Atlanta was different from Hawaii, okay? So when I got to Hawaii, I was like, hot girl summer's over.
Okay.
It's time to go, in a different season. So when he came in my inbox, I was like, girl this month,
I prayed for this.
Girl, the devil got to me first.
I always say, y'all do know the devil wraps gifts too.
Right, perfectly. And that's exactly what he did. So when he came, I was like, oh God, this is the answer prayer. I didn't know anything about testing the spirit. I didn't know. And I think I might have asked God, but I didn't wait on the answer,
So you asked. And now you did not wait.
I just was like,
you saw this emotionally. He cried. All that. You were like, yep, that's it.
That's it. Yeah. That's the one. And so we ended up talking. And we got married probably not even 6 months later.
Wow.
Yeah, he ended up coming to getting state. I fought hard with HR and trying to get him in Hawaii, girl.
You said, I'm going to get my man.
Brought that thing all the way to Hawaii. Listen. And so he ended up coming to Hawaii a few months later, and that's when.
So y'all got married in Hawaii.
Yeah, and actually we got married. So I went to North Carolina. We got married there, but I forgot to tell you this, right? Before he came to Hawaii, the first incident, we were in a club. I was, it wasn't really my scene then, but I was like, okay, let's just go and enjoy ourselves. He liked going out. We'll go out. And so when we got back home, that's when I saw like the mask slip. And
you all were married at this point.
We were married like 2 weeks at this point.
Okay, got it.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I came back. So we were married like 2 weeks. And so when we got back home, I'm just a little flustered, but I'm still trying to keep it light. And so we sitting on the couch talking, and he said something like, I don't even remember what he said, something crazy. And I'm not an arguer. I do not like to argue. So I got up, I went to the bathroom. Girl, why I did that? He was hot on my heels, like white on rice. And so when I tried to close the door, he shut that door on me, and then he mushed my head. And at this time, I had never had anybody really do that.
Yeah, that.
So it took me
It took you aback.
Yeah, it took me like a little minute to comprehend. Like this Joker just put his hands on me, and I was just shocked. And I closed the bathroom door, and I just stayed in there just crying because I'm like, we just got married. We supposed to be celebrating. We supposed to be in the honeymoon stage and all of that. So that was the first red flag. So now I know, like, if somebody do that to you, especially you just get married at any phase, it was never okay. It was never okay. But that was one of the biggest first red flags.
So early on, he didn't even wait any time.
No time. That demon manifested. Like, it was like, I'm here on assignment. I'm here
to break you.
To break me down. He was trying to break my soul.
So 2 weeks in, how did you justify that to keep going?
Well, we just got married. And then I think his ex had called during that time, like weeks later. It was always something. His ex called and tried to warn me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She tried to warn me, and we ended up bidding, and she ended up paying a part later. And I'm not one of those girls. If you call me, girl, I want to know what the tea is. What's tea?
Right.
I'm not one of the one. Girl, don't be calling me. No, girl. What you say, girl?
Yeah.
Wait, say that slower this time. I want you to collaborate because I want all the pieces of the puzzle. And so, but at that time, I was like, I believed every word she said. She sent me pictures where he had did some things to her face. And I knew she was telling me the truth.
But it still wasn't enough for you to act on it to get yourself out. It wasn't
at that time. Because he wouldn't do that to me. He wouldn't go that far with me.
You thought you were different.
I'm special.
Right.
Right. And he had already shown me.
Don't we do that a lot, ladies?
We do.
Yeah.
The signs was already there. They got 8 baby daddies. Oh, he ain't going to make me. He's going to make you one too. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to be special. You know, and then I didn't want to give up on the marriage so soon. We was only married for 2 years.
Because then that thing, we internalize that as that is failure on our side.
Right. What people gonna say? That was a big part of it. What people gonna say? You just got married. God hates divorce. Like all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, well.
And then if I'm going to be the one that they blame, it must have been something you did.
Right. Because now, look, you've been in another failed, people going to see you've been in another failed relationship. Dang, how many husbands you going to have? You know, how many boyfriends you going to have?
Because you know right now, there's some women out there, like they talk about Janet Jackson, Jennifer Lopez. Yeah. Like there's some women out there that they say that, and again, it's from the outward appearance, right?
Yeah.
You think, well, who's the common denominator here?
That's what I said.
Right? Because even I found myself doing that. I was like, something must be wrong with Jennifer Lopez. Like, why she can't keep a man?
Well, I do think something is wrong.
But she is, right.
At some point, though.
Right. And now I'm like, so I can see that being a part where you like, I don't even want that type of attention on me.
Yeah. So that kept me in it a little longer. And I was like, oh, you're supposed to stay and pray. Stay and pray the demons away. You're supposed to stay and pray and go to war and so that's why I was like, oh, what?
So even during this time, your faith, your faith was strong, and you were determined that I'm going to keep. God said, and again, I asked God for it. So now we again attach
God
it
said it.
God said, you better stay here and figure this out.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully we come back to that at the end. What God told me at the end. But yeah, I was like, okay, if God sent them. Then God hates divorce, and you're not supposed to do. I'm just supposed to just stay and long suffer in this abuse.
And even with your training, and I'm skipping ahead a little bit. We're gonna come back because obviously you took your pain and you have made it your purpose and your passion by helping others recognize those signs immediately, act on them immediately, right before. You could possibly end up in a situation where somebody has been unalived, right? Or in jail, or in all of those types of things.
That's when I knew I had to get away.
Right. So you're in it 2 weeks. You see the sign. You've gotten a phone call from the ex. You believe her, but again, you saying, nope, Shannon is special. Shannon is different.
Sound crazy, don't
God said this right here, right? How long were y'all married?
2 years.
Okay. So from 2 weeks to 2 years, what are some other incidents? Like you said, that it was pour a little bit more water, turn the heat up a little bit
Then
more.
came the cheating, which I already knew. So, so one morning before PT, it's probably like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. It's so random how God just revealed things. So I'm laying in the bed, he's laying in the bed. We had our phones at the time. And then he goes through Facebook. That doggone Facebook.
I told you, buddy.
On Facebook. So he goes to his phone and he's swiping. I look over there. He's on this lady's page. And I said, who is this? Oh, he's going through his block list. And I said, well, who is that? I said, why you have her blocked? He said, oh, she just, crazy. Everybody crazy.
Everybody crazy.
Right. She just crazy. She be stalking me. And then the name, God told me to clock it. Clock the name. He didn't tell me to clock it, but
I know what it is. Yeah.
Right. And I was like, okay. Just played it off. He got up and went to PT a little bit later. I went over to his computer, and I'm not a snooper. That discernment be discerning, right? So I know if God want me to find something, he'll give it to me in a dream. He'll show me. He'll let that thing fall right in my lap.
And he won't let it rest.
No, you won't have peace about it. I did not have peace about that name. So I went to his computer and I typed in the name on his MacBook. All this stuff with her name, pictures and text messages. And I was like, look at here, jackpot. So I called her. I think I called him first and then I called her. I didn't say too much when I called him. I think I just asked who she was. And then I called her. And I said, yeah, such and such wife. And what did she say? She was like, oh, and I was like, so are you having an affair with my husband? Like, oh, no. She was cool. We was cool. Because that's how I am. That's the type of woman I am.
Right.
No, girl's girl for real.
Yeah, because really, if you want to get the information, you cannot blow up.
No,
yeah, you gotta just act like, that's right. Say that again.
Listen, give me my Emmy, okay? So I was talking to her, and by this time I had went into the garage or whatever, and I was like, well, such and such, girl, I want to say her name so bad, I ain't gonna call her out. But I said, I got the receipts right here. I got the evidence right here. And then that's when she got quiet. And she took a deep breath and she was like, yeah, we've been sleeping together. She said, I actually was with him before you were. So she had been in the picture.
Before you even got there?
Before I got there. She had been in the picture, but he didn't choose her. So when they choose you, they choose you. I'm an officer in the military. I'm a CW3 at the time. He saw me security. She didn't have security. She had 2 kids. I was secure. Finances straight. I'm straight with or without a man. That's how I was going to be. And so he saw that. I know he saw that, as unhealed as I was on the outside, I still was put together.
And potentially he also saw it as you weren't going to be a headache for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, because if you think about it, when unfortunately as a woman, when you don't have that type of security, you don't know who you are. Men recognize that, and that is drama for them.
Yes.
And men can't handle
That's
drama.
good. I never thought about that.
They'll deal with it and they consider it spicy when it's outside. Right. And let me tip my toe in, get what I need from you, and then I'm leaving, because drama means I got to now get in the trenches with you.
Right.
I got to help you be the better version of yourself.
There you go.
And that's not what he was. So when he came to you, it's exactly that. It was, there's no drama over here. I don't have to build this woman up over here. I don't have to actually invest a lot of
you
me
preaching.
right into this relationship, because it's not going to require a lot.
Right. And he presented himself, because how they do is mirror you.
Yeah.
So he presented himself. Absolutely. He's a senior NCO in the military. I'm a senior officer. So it was like, oh, this must be a match made in heaven. But
power couple.
Right, girl. That's what, right. That's what I'm thinking. Right. It was power, all right. Just the wrong kind, demonic power. So so I'm talking to her, and she's left with me, and she was like, I apologize, all of this. So by this time, he didn't came in the garage, and he's like calling her all kind of B's, you lying. And I'm like, look at this, look at this. Do you see what's happening, girlfriend? So he calling her everything but a child of God, and I was like, no, you ain't gonna disrespect her. I believe her.
Yeah, you called.
Right, you called.
Yeah. So
that was like the beginning of the end. All right, so I took him back after that, though.
Okay.
We went to therapy, because therapy.
So before you skip to that, because I think this is the other part of the healing, is when you are in a because that was, I would imagine, regardless if you've been married to somebody 6 months or 30 years, the fact that you now find out that your husband, somebody that stood before God, family, friends, made a commitment to you, has decided to break those vows, right? Just for a moment, you're on this phone call with this woman. What's happening with you internally?
Ooh, I was going through a lot internally, a lot of disbelief, but I'm one of those people, I'm a truth teller. I wasn't so much then, but I still believe. I still wanted to believe him. Some part of me wanted to believe him, even though, doesn't that sound crazy? Even though I believe what these women are saying, some part wanted to believe that he could change. So I'm thinking of the betrayal. I'm thinking of the loss of what I thought this marriage was, So it was a lot of loss, a lot of sadness. And I went into like almost a little mini depression behind that. But I was like, if I don't know how to do anything else, I know how to keep going. And that's what I did. I was like, okay, well, let's go to therapy. Like, you know, and it wasn't like that immediately. I was like, okay, you know, he's trying to, you know, pacify me, win me over, and do all of this stuff. But then he was like, just give me another chance. I promise I'll change. Yeah.
Aren't those words just, you hear that consistently. I promise I'll change.
I promise I'll change.
Why couldn't you change before you even made the commitment to me?
Right.
Why does your change have to be predicated on my pain?
Right. So good.
Right?
So good.
Like that, those are the questions there is, no, your change should not come off of my pain.
Right. But let me tell you something. This is how tricky our subconscious mind is. When I look back on it, because you have to examine how you got there.
Hindsight being 2020 ain't no joke.
Right. None. But what I believed is I deserved it because I cheated before. We don't talk about that.
Say that to the camera because that's a real authenticity right there.
Because I cheated before because I was having hot girl summers. And so somewhere in my mind, I was like, that's it. Like, I deserve this, right? Right, God? Oh, because I'm very honest with myself. I'm big on accountability. So I was like, okay, I'm going to chalk this one up to the game. That's what I thought. And I was like, okay, well, maybe because of what I've done in my past, I deserve what I'm getting now. And I'm just going to pull through it because I did this to somebody else. So now it's happening to me. I can't just be like, I'm bowing out now. And so I made an agreement. That's those agreements that you make with yourself. And I made an agreement with myself. This is just what it is. You did this to somebody else. Now it's being done to you.
And you now justify his behavior.
And now I'm justifying his behavior. So, yeah. So I made a silent agreement with that I deserve it. And that happened. If y'all look back at my life, in my childhood, that was a common theme. And that's how you end up with low self-worth, low self-esteem, all of that because you think you deserve it.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I mentioned it in my book, Pieces of Me, when I wanted a daughter so bad. And, you know, I finally get this opportunity and I'm having all of these issues, blood clots. I'm going to the doctor consistently and the doctor keeps saying, I'm like, for sure, I done had a miscarriage. This baby is no longer here just because of all the ups and downs that was happening. And every time I'd go to the doctor, I felt like I was on this emotional roller coaster because I would go and he'd say, no, her heartbeat is still there. And I'm like, but why am I having all of these issues? And it's funny, I remember, and then she came 4 months early. And I remember being in that hospital bed and lying there. And it was at one of them times where God set me completely down.
Yeah, one of those times.
Everybody else, I felt like the world was going on without me because my husband was still having to go to work to provide for the rest of the kids. My job, everybody seemed to be moving on without Deanna. And I could not even get out of the hospital bed, right? Everything was brought to me. And I remember sitting there saying, God, this must be my punishment because I had an abortion after my son.
Girl,
now, mind you, I'm 17 something years old. I definitely wasn't getting ready to have a second child at that particular time, right? And so I went through those same emotions of saying, God, if you bring her through this, you know, but I also sat there and dealt with so much guilt, right? Of, oh, this must be, he's going to take away the one thing I've always wanted because of something that happened many, many years before.
And that's how you end up wrestling with guilt. That's major, Deanna.
And how it shows up in so many different ways of the decisions and how sometimes we will keep ourselves, like you said, in a moment because we just feel that, and that's not how God works.
No. And in that situation, in both situations, it wasn't about what happened later. It was about the agreements that we formed because of, and the ideals that happened, and the subconscious thoughts that we had because of what the past, and now it's showing up in our present.
And then I realized for me, and I'm curious if it was for you, when I had that conversation, I also realized I had never reconciled and forgiven myself.
Big time. I went into depression and major after that.
Yeah.
It was always easier for me to forgive other people. Forgiving other people is not, it was forgiving myself because I should have known I'm an officer. I'm supposed to be intelligent. I'm supposed to be a 6-figure earner and all these things. How could you end up in this situation? People are, oh, you're so strong. I'm not always strong. So you're a black
still human.
Right. I'm not. And so he got to see the side of me that was vulnerable, and he took advantage of that. So yeah.
I talked about this, one of my guests on season 1, because obviously when I watch your podcast, you know, I had heard the word narcissist, right? But didn't necessarily know all the facets, right? Like when I look at your stuff and I see your mission and your ministry from it, how many legs of a narcissist? It's like a spider web.
It's like an octopus. Right. It's so many tentacles that get embedded in your life, and that's how they're able to destroy a person's soul, because they get embedded. They isolate you. They love bomb you. They do all these different things to you. So they get in through your emotions, and then they go spiritually through witchcraft, do all the kind of things. And then it's financial, because they're going to mess up your money, you know? And so it's like a perfect setup for you not to be able to leave. It's like a system or a city that they put you in. And now you got to fight all those layers
tooth and nail to get out.
It's easy to get into, and it's the fight of your life to get out of.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So how did the emotional and spiritual warfare, and I definitely want, because you do an amazing job to connect it all back to the spiritual side of it, right? It's so easy for us to just look at, oh, that's just a bad apple. That's just a bad person. Right. But really what's controlling that individual is so much more strong, is so much stronger, right, than what our eyes can even see. Right. So my question is, how did the emotional and spiritual warfare impact your identity, your faith, and your sense of worth as a woman?
It shattered it, because I realized that everything that I thought I knew about myself was built on the wrong foundation. You know, I thought I had high self-esteem, but I realized it was vanity. It wasn't. So my foundation was never rooted. So it caused me to think less of myself, you know. So every part of me was affected by what happened to me, you know. So then I realized that God had to break me down to build me back up for real.
And really in his image. Not your image.
Not mine.
His.
That's exactly what had to happen. So everything that I thought I knew about myself, it shook me to my core, because I realized it was all a lie. Like everything that I thought I knew, even about myself, some things about my family, because then you got to go back and look at why did this all seem familiar? Yeah, and that's not to blame. It's not to shame. But when I look back at it, I had grew up in this. I was sexually abused, never protected. That was a big theme. Some people's money, whatever it is that you want or that you didn't get in childhood, and I heard you say this in the episode, whatever it was that you lacked, that's what the narcissist is going to attach your vulnerability. Mine was protection. So he was a bodybuilder. He was buff. He was all these things.
So you like, if I'm around him, I know I'm safe. I can let my guard down. I don't even have to watch my 3, 6, 9, 12. He got me.
Right. And they come in being the protector, being everything. If it's money, they come in flashing. Whatever it is that you think you lack, that's what they're going to show up as. And that's what he showed up as, a protector. But he was the very person that I needed protection from in the end.
In the end.
Yeah. So it's spiritual warfare. It's all of that. It's what's driving, and that affects their emotional. So you don't realize that narcissistic abuse is spiritual warfare of epic proportions. And that's why it's so hard for people to function. It's so hard for you to get out of it, you know, because it's affecting you emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. It's literally affecting you on every level.
Every molecule in your body is being affected, and that you're reactive to it.
And they love that. Yeah. Because then they have you. They can always control you if you're reactive. And that's why I had to learn to now come up higher.
That frequency could not be down there.
That's real. Yeah. And a lot of people in church try to, you know, oh, that's demonic. No, there is a such thing as vibration. It is. We just have to acknowledge, we can't demonize everything.
And the universe literally will vibrate at the vibration that you're on. Like if you think and believe and only feel it's this, everything that attaches itself to that level is going to come to you.
Like
so every day you have to wake up and say, I am always going to be vibrating up here.
That's it.
Even when things, and I've come to learn that again, even at the age now, is being more responsive to things and not reactive.
Yes, I observe and I don't absorb.
That's it.
I don't.
Yeah.
So that's why my posture is always here. I just talked about that last night on the show, on the live stream. I've been in situations and people try to, because they would trigger you.
Oh yeah.
You got to know when a spirit is talking behind somebody and it's a person. So their goal, especially if you carry light, they see your light, and their job is to snuff that life out. So if you know you have light, you carry God's presence. You got to be careful because Satan has children too, and they're gonna try to come at you. And so I always say, baby, I'm gonna always keep my crown on.
Absolutely, absolutely. So before we go to break, because now I wanted to be able, this part of it, I wanted to build up how you found yourself in that moment. But the real power of who you are is how you got out of it. So before we go to break, one last question. What was the breaking point? The moment you knew staying would cost you more than just your peace, possibly your life.
Okay, you ready for this? Okay, all right. So it was two instances. One, we went to a ball, right? Beautiful ball, beautiful. He's in his uniform. I'm in my ball gown. Everything is everything. Children at the babysitters. We come home. We both been drinking or whatever. That night we got into a disagreement. I don't even remember what it was about. So I started to walk away. So, and then I think as I was walking away, like I pushed him off of me or something like that. And then he turned around and backhanded me. And he almost broke my nose.
Oh my goodness. So he hitting you like it's a man in front of him.
And again, he's big.
Yes.
Yeah. So I got up. I had the wherewithal, and I know that was God. I grabbed my phone. I ran into the bedroom, and I took a picture of my face. He tried to come to the door and bring me towels and all to apologize.
Because you're bloody.
I'm bloody at this point. So before I did that, I took a picture, and that picture came into play later. But that's when I knew. That's when I knew. And then another instance. I think this was around the same time I caught him. No, this was a different incident. Caught him cheating. We in the closet arguing. I pulled out my gun on him.
I know that's right. Pow, pow.
Chitty, chitty, bang, bang. So I don't know if we want to tell that when we come back from break.
Okay, all right, we'll do that when we come back from break, guys. Oh, my God. First off, we need to thank one of our sponsors, the Biz Lounge, which is where we're shooting. Our address is 3660 Barker Cypress Road right here in Houston, Texas. Check us out on our website, and y'all stay tuned because, whoo, honey, this is one of these episodes. I always feel like with so many of my ladies, it's like there's so much to unpack and not enough time.
Right.
So, all right, guys, y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. The Biz Lounge is redefining the concept of workspaces by incorporating state-of-the-art technology with ergonomic designs in a space to foster creativity and productivity.
It's not just a workspace. This is a dynamic ecosystem designed for growth, inspiration, and connection.
We'll see you at the Biz Lounge. Welcome back, guys, to Let's Be Raw. Our topic today is beauty from ashes. We have the beautiful Miss Shannon Savoy. And if you haven't already tuned in or you're just now tuning in, I always encourage you to go back to the beginning because she has really pulled back the veil, been vulnerable, authentic, raw in what life was with a narcissist.
Yes.
So before break, we got the behind the scenes. When she first met him, how she met him, the first sign, 2 weeks in, the justification, right? The validation, the I must have deserved this,
right?
The I want to be the savior, which is what a lot of us women, right, want to do. We all feel like we can love them past their indiscretion.
That's a big part of it,
right? So we talked about that final moment that you said, this is it. It will never happen again. And I'm choosing Shannon over this marriage, over what I thought I had prayed for, what I thought was God's gift to me. And you said, that's it. So take us to, we in the closet and we got the gun out and we pow.
Right. So it's two incidents. One was the closet scene, and then another one was with my children. And that's what did it.
Oh yeah, come Mama Bear. We don't play now when it comes to our babies.
Right. Okay. That's what did it. It was one thing to do that to me, and it was another thing. So we gonna okay. So let me hurry up. All right. So we in the closet, and I don't know. Remember if the kids was home, but we would go in the closet so everything would be kind of muffled or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. So we wouldn't get out. Yeah. I mean, so our voices
wouldn't kind of carry and everything.
Right. So we in the closet arguing or whatever, and I'm, and at this point I'm in his face. He in my face. We in each other's space and face. And then he took his hands and he wrapped his hands around my neck and strangulated me. And I'm like going out.
Right.
And he's strong. He's way stronger than me, So I'm starting to black out and everything. And then I come to and I'm like gasping for air. And then I like break away from him. He's not saying I'm sorry this time. He's like the demon's like, I'm seeing everything. Like he's cursing me out. He's saying you be like all this stuff. So I break away from him and I go to my dresser and I pulled out my 380. It wasn't loaded. And I said, I think I put it to his head. I said, if you ever, in so many words, if you ever do me like that again or put your strangulate, whatever I said, so many choice words, I said, one of us will either end up in jail or 6 feet under. And then I ran to the bathroom and, hid in the bathroom for a while, locked the door. So that's when I knew that I was like, God was like, if you don't get away from him, so, just think, because your life, it happens so quickly, And of course, narcissistic abuse and domestic violence is not only somebody hitting on you. So I want to make that clear.
Please do.
I want to make that clear. People think, oh, well, he didn't put his hands on me. It's not abuse, or she didn't.
That's right. That's
because it happens to me. And my husband went through that. So people will think, well, we're not fighting or we're not putting our hands on each other. So it's not domestic abuse. Domestic abuse encompasses narcissistic abuse. It is domestic violence. So when I'm going through that, I'm like, God is telling me you have to get away. So at this point, all the red flags are there. I've caught him cheating. He's accusing me of doing things. Some days are good and some days are bad. So it's not always bad.
Of course.
And that's what keeps you hanging on to hope and everything. And so during that time, what happened? What happened after that?
What was the moment with your kids?
The moment with my kids. So that was right before. So the moment with my kids, I knew at this point, like I had to make a choice, like, okay, it's time. But I still wasn't just ready. So we had got into another disagreement. But at this time, he is like antagonizing me. Like he's taking my things, like throwing them over the toilet, trying to act like he's like acting like a little kid at this point.
Wow.
Because I'm ignoring him now.
He's not getting any reaction.
He's not getting the reaction because I had to learn, like, don't argue with him. So at this point, I'm not arguing with him. I'm keeping it cool. When he gets in my face, I'm just like this. I'm starting to record the incidents and stuff like that. So he's knowing that something is different, right? So anyway, we had a disagreement. I don't even remember about what. And that night he got into it he turned the tables to my daughter, the same daughter you met. And he started arguing with her. And that's what did it. And she ended up calling the police. Now, when she called the police, I wasn't ready then. I had to live with that guilt. I was not ready then.
Because let's just, for just a moment, you didn't give her the protection
that I wanted,
that you wanted, that she needed, and that you didn't get.
Right.
So you were still practicing that behavior of what you had seen in your childhood.
Yes.
And now it was showing up to your children.
Right. Right. So I had to live with that. And we had to have some hard conversations about that.
I imagine.
I had to have some hard conversations about that. So anyway, that night I wasn't prepared. So again, shortly after, he's turned his attention to her. And I'm like, again, so that was a red flag. And I knew I had to do something from there. But then another incident happened, and that was the end. So again, he did something to her, like opened her door, did something, because he was just being a terror in the house. And so what happened? We got into it. He got into it with my daughter, and then he was just acting like a buffoon in the house. And I was like, okay. And so he went to go sleep on the couch. And I knew that this night was going to be different because he was acting like he had never acted before. So I told the children, I said, I gave them knives. I said, put this knife up. Yes, it had gotten to that point where he was antagonizing everybody in the house. I had locked the door. I told them to lock their doors. I got them knives. I told them to sleep with that knife under their bed. If they had to go to the bathroom to wake me up. And so in the middle of the night, both of them had to go to the bathroom. This was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And so they had to go to the bathroom. He was still sleeping on the couch. But it was in that moment when I saw me and my children going to the bathroom with knives in our hand. And that was it. That was it.
Oh, my God.
I called the domestic violence hotline in Hawaii.
Ooh.
And they told me to go to the courthouse. They told me everything, what to do. And so that same day, so that was 3 o'clock in the morning, that same day, I went down to the courthouse and I filed for a temporary restraining order. I was granted a restraining order. Me and my children was granted a restraining order. That night, I felt so much relief. He could not come back to the house. Me and my daughter packed up every bit of his things and we put them in garbage bags. And then that next weekend, him and his company commander had to come to the house to get his stuff. But my children, I was like, now, because he's not only antagonizing me, he's doing it to my children.
And again, what is their life going to be like? Because it goes back to what you said. It's funny how when we think about our childhood and we think about the moments that were so pivotal for us. Majority of the time, it's not the happy times. It's the times of trauma. It's the time of uncertainty. It's the time of not being protected, not feeling safe. And so when you think about your children, it's like, what foundation am I giving them to build off of?
Right.
Because you start forgetting about all the happy times. What really gets seared in our brain is that trauma.
Right. And I went through the same thing with my mother.
See?
I didn't see the domestic violence or anything like that, but I remember me and my brother telling her, let's leave. So let's leave, like, let's just go. And she was like, she didn't trust in herself enough to leave. And we would be crying and saying, Mama, let's go. It brought me back to my daughter. And I said, no, I'm not going to repeat the cycle. I did it once. Now I have to break this cycle or else my daughter's going to find herself and we're just going to continue the cycle. So I had to make a choice to break the cycle. And I chose me and my children over an abuser. And our lives been better ever since. I would do it again and again
and again.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that was heavy.
No, girl, no, but this is perfect because the other thing you touched on couple powerful points. One is you hear so much about domestic violence. You just recently, in my opinion, start hearing the correlation between that narcissistic behavior and how it leads, and it's all cohesive, right?
Absolutely.
But then the other part is you talked on how domestic violence isn't always the physical. And I, being a child of domestic violence and seeing my mother go through it, right? Certainly allowed me to make some decisions early on and recognize signs. I am grateful that when I would recognize it, in the few times or one or two guys, I knew, oh, nope, that's not it. Right there, right? But the other side of it is I feel like with my mother, she healed from the physical side of it. But that mental and emotional, it played a part in every relationship she had after that till there was just no relationship to be had. Because she couldn't, I was like, all she would ever focus on was on the physical side. And I kept saying, Mom, you had way more damage done to you. You healed from the physical. Somebody looking at you today would never even know the physical side that you went through. But that emotional, mental, spiritual side of it,
that's the root.
And has a lasting effect.
It does.
The other thing I think I want to talk about, I've noticed as we've been interviewing, and when you start trying to go into your memory bank to find it, let me tell you what I love, and I say it. You actually can't even pull it up to that degree.
That's so good.
And here,
you see it.
That's the growth. That's the healing. Because a lot of times when we think we have healed past something, we can literally go back into that memory bank and pull it to the forefront. And it's almost like we are in it right now. Like we can tell it, we can feel it, we can express it. So what I love was even in your quest of trying to make sure, let me share it. When you said to me, I don't even know what the conversation was. I don't know how it happened. I feel it's almost like when God gives us the mental blocks for childbirth, right? Because think about it. I said this on another episode. I really feel like when somebody says to us as a mother, oh my God, what was it like giving birth? Right. Like, we try to go back to our memory bank, right? And we say we know it was painful. Yes. But we really can't articulate what the level of the pain, when we felt the pain, how we pushed ourselves through the pain. And he does that because it's a reset, right? Yes. Also, from a childbirth is, well, we won't procreate if we really can describe what that pain was, right?
Yeah. So he gives us like that supernatural cleansing.
And that's what I noticed, that even in that, the authenticity and the healing that you've gone through to be able to say, yes, sis, I went through some stuff. The pain was real. Yes. But the fact that I can't even go and really pull it out, that's growth. Right. That's healing.
Right. So I can see the snapshot.
Right.
I see the snapshot of us in the closet, but I don't, it's some aspects of it. And I know that was done to protect me too.
Yes.
Your brain does, you know, sometimes it will suppress certain things. We know that that's supernatural. We know that that's God. Right. So that you can heal from it.
That's right.
Because if it not, I would literally be stuck in that moment, which some people do get stuck.
Which also says you would not be able to have the mission and the ministry and the purpose of what you're doing right now if you weren't healed.
Right.
Because again, part of the whole healing is not always to take the person all the way back and say, relive this over and over again. It's really about the growth.
Yeah.
Yes, you went through something. Yes, what have you learned from it? Now, how are you going to make a situation or show somebody else differently, or just make sure that you protect yourself differently?
Right. And I knew that very early on. Like, you know, God gave me a snapshot even while I was going through it. And I went through a lot of healing, a lot of soul healing, a lot of therapy, a lot of prayer. Like, I had to do a lot alone, you know? And so that made me really have compassion for people and a passion for people that go through the same thing I did. And I knew it was necessary. Even when I was going through it, I was like, I'm going to help somebody else out of that. And it takes a different mindset. Everybody doesn't have that.
Nope.
Everybody doesn't have that fighter, that survival. You know what I'm saying? Because you have it. Everybody doesn't have that. But that when they go through, they know I'm going to help somebody else.
This testimony is going to be for somebody else.
Yeah. Right. Even while I'm going through in the middle of it. Yeah.
So fast forward, because obviously whether you've been in a narcissistic relationship or abusive relationship, because women just love hard, period, right? Yeah. Coming out of something like that, how long did it take before you met the love of your life, your husband?
Yeah.
And then talk about rebuilding trust. Trust for yourself. Trust that you could even trust your emotions.
Yes.
Trust that you could even trust your discernment, your choices.
Right.
And also not hold Solomon accountable for your ex-husband's actions.
Right. Oh, that's a loaded question. That's really good. Okay, so we divorced in 2016.
Okay.
I got married to Solomon in 2018.
Okay. All right. Okay.
But let me tell you.
Okay.
Before I met Solomon, my job was healing. My job was healing. God took me, like I retired from the military. He brought me to Houston. He wouldn't let me work. I tried to apply for jobs in corporate America. He took me through what I call spiritual intensive care unit.
Wow.
So I went through a lot of inner healing, soul healing with me and God. And then he built what I call my A-team, a coach that understands narcissistic abuse. I had a psychotherapist, a therapist. I believe in getting the help that I need. So 2 to 3 times a week, I was either on a call or going to my therapist's office. I was committed to never going through this again. I was like, I never want to feel that level of pain ever again in my life. So I took healing, and I still take healing very serious. So by the time I met Solomon, well, let me stay right there for just a second. So after that, I went through a major depression. I was diagnosed with major depression. I was diagnosed with ADHD. I was diagnosed with OCD, anxiety. And I would take the pill, but I would feel numb, and I couldn't feel.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't like feeling loopy. I like being present in my mind and in myself.
I like to be in control.
Right.
Like that part of me, that's all the way through.
Right.
Yeah. I don't even like take medicine for a headache. I'm like, girl, just push through. Right.
So I'm sensitive. My system is very sensitive to stuff. So I knew for me that was not going to be the answer. So I had to feel, and God was showing me, no, I need you to feel this. And so I had to feel and learn how to process my emotions, learn how to get to the root of everything. So by the time I met Solomon, like a lot of my work had been done as far as me inner healing. Now, when you get married, you already know another layer of healing is going to test what you learn.
Right.
So even in our first year of marriage, we went to therapy because we had to learn. He came out of narcissistic abuse in his former marriage. I came out of narcissistic abuse, and then we had elements of that in our homes growing up. So we had
was surrounded by it.
Yes. So we had to really. He had to do his work. I had to do my work, and then we had to come together. And I learned very early on, both of us, that I had to learn how to trust myself and learn how to trust God. And when I learned how to trust God, it wasn't that I trusted. Okay, let me say this. Trusting God or trusting myself really was trusting God with the information that he gave me. So I had to learn that through discernment, God was going to show me, and I had to trust myself in order to act on it. But it was an act of faith because he's going to show us, you know. So through that, I was like, okay, I can learn how to trust again a little bit at a time, but it was not overnight. It was a 2-year process of just really healing and not dating, not, allowing when Solomon finally came to court, to court me. And then I knew very early on that I had to ask God, did you send him?
Right.
And wait on the answer.
Yeah. Yeah, we ain't jumping ahead 6 months.
Right. That time we both went to God, and it was totally different. Like God gives you do-overs. He gives you do-overs. And that's what I noticed with me and Solomon. Things that I went through with the I call him a sociopath because he was. Like God gave me do-overs with Solomon. And then it's like, wow, it'll almost be like a deja vu moment. It's like, see, I'm rewriting your story. That was just a chapter. That's not your whole book.
No.
So that's the good thing. But it did take a lot of inner healing, making a decision to heal, and that I never was going to go back to that place. And then I wasn't only doing it for me, I was doing it for my children as well, because I didn't want them to, even though they didn't see the violence, it's spiritual, so they feel it.
We all assume too that kids. My mom assumed that we didn't know, especially with us being so young.
Good.
But even when I talked to her as I was writing the book, and I shared with her moments that I do recall. Now there wasn't a whole lot, but the 1 or 2 that did happen, they were traumatic enough for me that they were intertwined into my DNA.
Right.
How I dated. Yes. How I viewed men, how I felt like you can't trust no man. There's no man out there that's going to protect you, girl. You better figure it out on your own. Yeah. That's not true.
Right.
Right.
That's the INDEP that we have to let go.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So Solomon is now your husband.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Did Solomon come in? Are your kids grown at this point, or
when they met him? We've been married 7 years now. No, so they're 21 and 22. So they were in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, they were.
How did they feel? Because again, from kids' trauma, they saw mom finally survive, escape it. I would imagine, I know for me, when my mom started dating and everything, I just was like, I was very nervous about who is she bringing in the house? Yes. Who is this guy? I didn't trust anybody, right? Even at that age. And I was the oldest. I'm the oldest. So even having that level of responsibility, my mom's now a single mom and all of that, I started trying to be her protector.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
So kids, and now you say, hey, we're going to do this again.
Right.
Again, I'm coming to you as your mama, and I want y'all to trust me.
Right.
Has there ever been, whether it was before then or now with them grown, where y'all have actually sat down and had those conversations, and you've allowed them to open up and even be vulnerable enough, and even to say, Mom, we didn't agree with this. We didn't like this. This is how it impacted me.
Even before Solomon came, I had to sit them down and say, I raised you from the broken parts of me. So I apologize. I had to apologize to my children. I raised you. I was a child. When I look back at it, I was a child raising children. My inner child was raising my children and making decisions. So that's how I always came at it with them. And I said, Mama made mistakes. You know, I always say, Mama lived, honey. You know, the woman that they see, the preaching and all that, I was not this woman, and they know that, and they've been on this journey with me, you know. So I just am very transparent. We're very honest, and we do have those conversations. So by the time Solomon came along with the sociopath, he was very aggressive, and he was like, yeah, we're going to be a family. Solomon didn't do that. He took a very different approach. I was more so like, come on, y'all, you know, oh, we gonna and he was like, no, it's gonna happen organically.
Just let it now.
And now, I mean, you can tell that them
they
his kids.
That's that part.
Right. You take care of them long enough, they start to look
like
I mean?
Right.
They have a father, you know, a good father.
Right.
But yeah, absolutely not. I mean, they love one another. Yeah.
So now ministry. You realize you went through the healing, your testimony, and because it's a heavy burden.
Yes.
You know, I was on a podcast recently just talking about how, and you and I had this conversation a couple weeks ago, how even I was scared to attach the word ministry to what I do as far as my women's platform, right? And then I see yours, and it's definitely a ministry, but that's a heavy, heavy load.
It is.
To take on and say that I'm going to take my pain, turn it into passion and my purpose. And then from a spiritual side of it, because that's the other thing I've realized, and I'm not, you know, I help women from the, let's get your story out there. You have a safe place and all of that, right? Whereas yours is, these women are in a situation, don't know how to get out of it, right? And aren't even comfortable even sharing their story because there's so much shame and everything that's attached to it. How do you protect yourself, Shannon, and your spirit to make sure that in your quest of ministering, that you really still have that discernment that, because I feel like, is it possible that a person could be brought to you that may not necessarily be going through an experience?
I've had that happen.
Okay, that's what, because I was like, and then now they're in front of you, and again, your ministry says, I need to minister this. This is trauma care right now. I need to go into repair mode.
Right.
And then realize that no.
Oh, Deanna, do we got time?
Yeah, we gonna finish this, because we gonna have to bring you back for another season, another episode. I already know.
Right. So I had somebody come. I've had several people come. Either they were narcissists, because you can be narcissistic as well when you go through this. You can pick up elements. We call them narc fleas. You need healing.
I like that, narc fleas.
That's what we call
I like it.
Narc fleas, because you're gonna pick up, because you had to pick up what you had to pick up in order to survive that environment.
Right.
So that's why you need soul healing. You need deliverance. You need all of that. You know, and it comes in so many different forms. You know, so when people don't allow themselves to go through that process, they end up becoming the very thing that they hate.
Ooh.
They end up becoming like a narcissist or narcissistic. So I have people that do that, and they'll come. Usually I coach a lot of women. I coach some men. I haven't noticed that so much with the men. Men are kind of a little more hesitant to come, you know. But there has been women that they don't do their work, and so their focus is only on talking about somebody else. And when somebody does that, because this is your work. Now you do get your story out, but this is your time to. I need to get to the root of how you got there. I'm not focused on a narcissist, honestly. You know, I want to know how you got there, but I always tell people this is not about the narcissist. And once they can get that, we can get to the root. So people that focus heavy on a narcissist, you're going to be there for a season, but if you stay there long term, then I know something is going on. So in this one instance, this young lady came to me. This was very early on. Now, in every session, I pray. We invite the Holy Spirit in. I ask the Holy Spirit to give me discernment and wisdom. So there's been a couple of instances. So in this one that I'm thinking about, this young lady came to me very early on in my ministry and coaching. And during that time, I was just like, I want to save people. I want to help people.
Yeah.
If you come to me and tell me you must be a survivor, girl, this girl, okay. So anyway. Okay, I'm gonna say Chastity is her name, right? So she come to me and she tell me she's like 18 or 19 years old, and her mother is abusing her. Her mother is the biggest narcissist. They live in Virginia. Like all this stuff. She can't go to school. She can't get her records. And I'm just really trying. I'm like, oh my goodness, we got to get you out of there. So anyway, so I'm spending probably about 2 months with her, coaching her, talking to her, and now I've grown attached to her.
Right. Yeah.
I've grown attached to this person, and I'm reaching out to people. And can you help me? Can you help her? So after so much of this go on, I'm like, you got to get out of here, because now she's telling me she's being trafficked and her mother's doing all these things. Yes.
Right.
So now she's really pulling out my heartstrings.
Right.
So I call a friend of mine. He knows, he used to be in the NFL, and he knows some people. So he lives in Maryland, Virginia area. He gave me the number to the FBI. He said, here's a friend of mine, call them. So I called the FBI.
Oh, you all the way. I say this, how when we have that servant's heart, and like you said, when we lock in on something, we all the way in the trenches with you.
Honey.
Like literally, we like, it's 6 feet and we gonna figure out how to get out of here, but I ain't up top trying to direct you. I'm down there with you with the boots on. Yes.
And then she told me a dream. She know how I am about dreams. She said, I had this dream of this military woman. This is why they studied me. She said, this military woman, you was in uniform. I think it was you. You was in uniform and I was being rescued. Honey, okay, so I call the FBI. I fill out the report. He tell me, fill out all this information. They go to her house. I get a call. She's lying. I said, you got to be kidding me. I said,
and now you like, what's she lying about, right? Because you like, she ain't lying about the whole thing, did she?
I was like, it's her name? He's like, that's not even her name.
What?
She has some kind of
mental.
Yes. She watched me on YouTube and took a liking to me and just wanted to.
Girl, I got chills. That's scary.
Scary.
Because that turns into stalking. That turns into so much more.
Yes. So, girl, I was hot. I was in disbelief. And I'm telling my husband, because he pick up on stuff.
Yeah.
You know how they are.
Right. He black and white. I'm shades of gray. So having that black and white to be able to say no.
Yes. And he was like that. He was like that. And somebody's like, you spending too much time. And I'm getting his friend involved. And I'm like, can he go help her? And he was like, slow down. I was like, no, she need help. So when I told it, when the FBI agent called me back, he was like, that's not even her name. He was like, told me what exactly happened. He was like, none of that happened. She's been diagnosed with some issues.
Wow.
So I just prayed. My heart was broken.
Yeah.
And I was like, this was a lesson learned. God was showing me you can't save everybody. It is not your job to save everybody. You still have to test the fruit. You still have to be very discerning, even when you want to do good. You can get hurt beyond that.
Yes.
So I did a video. I was catfished. And you know what? What's so crazy? She called me like a month ago.
Recently.
I didn't block her.
Right.
Yeah, because I know people will be coming back, So she called me and she wanted to apologize. She said, Miss Shannon, she got a real soft voice. She was like, Miss Shannon. I was like, why did you lie?
Right.
I said, why did you lie to me like that? I said, I cared about you. And she was like, and then she seemed like she wanted me to let her back in. I was like, no, baby, that's it.
No. What they say about a snake, it sheds its skin just to become a bigger snake.
Right.
You won't bite me the second time.
Absolutely not. So it seems like she wanted to say more, but I didn't. I was like, I'm done with this. Like, it's been, and that happened probably about 2 years ago. And I had already processed through it. I didn't need you to tell me. I just wanted to know why you lied.
Right.
And what your name really was. That's the first thing I asked. What's your name?
What's your name? Yeah, who have I really been talking to?
Right. And so it wasn't too much. I didn't need closure from her. I've gone beyond needing closure from people. I just let people be who they are. And so after that, I was like, okay, that is a lesson learned, because I give people things and I support people. You know how it is, but it can come back to bite you. And that was one of the times where it came back to bite me. So I learned a big lesson from that. Yeah.
Woo, well, guys, we definitely going to have Miss Shannon Savoy on again. And that episode, because I wanted to lay the foundation of number one, how, again, this powerhouse woman, beautiful soul, spirit, aura about you could have found yourself in that situation, how you got yourself out, where the ministry side of it came from. But episode 2 for me is what I know a lot of people want to know is the signs. How can they recognize the signs?
Okay.
How not to justify the behavior, and then the tools and the resources that are out there to help them get out of it, right? But before we close out this session, what I would like for you to do is to look at the camera and share 1, 2, 3, whatever types of tips, wisdom, tools, whatever you feel from this situation where women are already in it. Men too. I don't want to discriminate when it comes to that. What they could possibly do and where they can seek help and where they can also make sure that they follow you.
Okay.
And you can help guide them.
Right. Okay. So can I give it to them raw?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. I'm going to tell you the honest to God truth. When people show you who they are, believe them. Don't try to, rewrite the story. Oh, it's going to get better, especially if they're showing you the signs, the traits of a narcissist. And I know they say don't diagnose. We don't diagnose narcissists, but we do discern spirits. And people are showing you every day who they are. And a lot of times we rewrite who we want them to be based on the needs that have not been met in ourselves. So I would say, number one, once God has shown you that this is what you're dealing with, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's time to make some moves. It's time to get out, because we are in a dispensation where the enemy is not playing with people. If you look on the news, I see so many stories of people that are being unalived, people that didn't take their lives seriously. And when you're in this, you're like that frog in a boiling pot where you don't realize the danger that you're in. And that's why you need, ministries and people like this, Deanna, you need a sister, you need a friend, somebody to, shine that light on that situation. So I would say this is not the dispensation to play around with your life, because people are losing their lives behind people that they thought would never do something to them. So I would say take your life very seriously. Life doesn't end when you get out of a narcissistic or an abusive situation. Your life is actually just beginning. So if you do your work, you go through the healing, the process, and it's going to be hard, but you're worth it. You're worth it. And so if you want to follow me, I would say follow me. Go to my website, www.narcfreeliving.com. I have resources there. You can follow me on all social media platforms. YouTube is my primary. I also have a book that shows you the signs from the love bombing from the onset, and it walks you through how to recognize it, and it walks you through how to get out of it, how to navigate that situation. And it's called Breaking Free from Narcissistic Abuse, and it's available on Amazon. If you just search up Shannon Savoy, a number of my books will come up there, and those are resources to help you. I'm not in it for the sales. I'm not in it to make my videos viral. I'm in it to impact people's life. It's always impact over influence. But my goal is to help you break those chains of narcissistic abuse, and that's what we're here for. So thank you, sis.
Oh, I couldn't have said it any better. I told you that's why I always want to make sure these women, they know what to do. They know what to say, right? Guys, it has been another amazing interview. Number one, Shannon, thank you so much for the vulnerability, the transparency, the call to action, right? When I said, hey, would you feel comfortable coming on and share? Because again, it's easy to, like you said, it's easy to give ourselves over to everybody else. But then when we have to sit down and talk about it, right? Sometimes that can be hard, that whole reliving side of it. You certainly do not look like what you have been through.
Thank God.
At all. All right, guys. So let me tell you about what's happening for next week's episode. Next week's episode is called My Life Uncuffed, Her Story of Redemption, Reinvention, and Life After Lockdown. That will be with Miss Dorothy Triplett. Again, please subscribe, like, share, comment. And make sure that if you are in a narcissistic relationship, you seek a way to get out, not tomorrow, today. Bye, guys.
Have you ever wondered how to keep up with the pace of our rapidly evolving world? How to seize the opportunities that are often fleeting in today's fast-paced lifestyle? Introducing Knock Knock, the digital solution designed to help you connect in even the most frenzied environments. Whether you find yourself in the midst of a bustling conference, navigating the chaos of an airport, or immersed in the vibrant city nightlife, Knock Knock empowers you to make connections seamlessly. With just a simple tap, you can integrate contacts instantly, ensuring no opportunity slips through your fingers. But Knock Knock isn't just about networking. It's about bridging the gap between your various brands. With Knock Knock, switching between your brands becomes as effortless as a single tap. No more navigating through endless web links or scanning QR codes. Knock Knock is the app that brings networking and e-commerce into the palm of your hand, making connections, making sales, and managing your brands effortless and instantaneous. Welcome to the revolution of technology and networking, brought to you by the Knight & Group Technologies division. With Knock Knock, the power to connect is just a tap away.